And good, that's live. So I'm going to drop that. I'll drop that. And hello, everyone. It's Ros
Good
here,
morning.
Ros Boundy here, and it's Leanne Winston there. I haven't put our names up, so there you go. I'll put them up for the start. So for those of you who are already here, so hello, Crystal. How are you?
Good morning, honey.
And it actually is a happy new year for everybody, because I think is this the first one we've done for the new year? Because did we do
It
one
would be.
Day?
We did one, New Year's Eve, I think we would have done it.
Oh, that's right. Yes, it was. Yep, Tuesday was New Year's Eve. Yes, so it is a happy new year. And it's a happy Tuesday too. Thanks, Diana.
Hey, Diana.
I like that. Now, for those of you who are new here, we've already got our names there, but it's also for anyone who might be watching that's new on the cross-posted pages. So we actually do have this show cross-posted to Leanne's Psychic Medium, Leanne Winston Psychic Medium. If you're on her page there, do click on where it says the mytimetv.live if you want your comments and questions to be seen. And hi, Natasha, how are you?
Hey, honey.
Just like that. That's how the comments get seen, because Natasha and Diana and that are on the mytimetv.live page, where this is the source recording of the live stream, the source page. I've got it cross-posted also to my Ros Boundy page and also to my Hypnosis Plus with Ros page. And that's purely because I'm the host for this show on the Tuesdays at the 10:30 Australian Central Daylight Time, just in case somebody else might have been wondering. And Charlie's is on the Gold Coast. I just noticed that.
Oh, how nice.
Oh, beautiful. It is a nice day here today.
It is. The sunshine. What's that blue sky? Have you seen it yet?
I'm just looking out my window and it's grey at the moment.
Oh, no.
But it's not grey. It's like it's because Port Elliott's on the seafront. So I think there's a bit of a sea mist.
Yeah. I got up at 8 o'clock this morning to take my daughter to the bus so she could go shopping with friends, and it was like blue sky. We haven't seen that for so long.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yes, and there's certainly been, hi AKB, and hey, Michelle, hi, how are you? Now, because it has been a lot of that smoky haze too from what the fires have been. I think most are under control now. I know there's still one burning on Kangaroo Island. I know that there's probably still the smokiness around the Cuddly Creek one. Yeah. So, and Rhiannon, how are you?
Hey, honey.
So how's your year going so far? It was a good start.
It's been good. And I think, the illness before Christmas and everything else, and what's it taken me 3 odd weeks to actually start feeling half human again. It was my body saying, slow down. It was preparing me for this year, sort of thing. I was talking to a friend last night, actually I must message him. The last 2 years have been hectic, and I honestly don't know how I pushed my body to the point that I did, but this new energy that's come in, I'm loving it. It's so much lighter, it's loving, it's more peaceful. So sorry, I thought I had that on silent. Did one, but not both.
Yeah, funny that, because mine just did something too, so we must have had a similar message.
Same notification.
Whoops, because it's the iPad straight underneath the screen here.
Yeah.
Now, as people are coming in, I'm going to start losing the comments too, because they do start to get too fast. I try to do the chronological.
And what about yours? How's your year been?
Well, it's been quiet, and I'm loving it. Like still doing that process of backwards and forwards between the two houses, Meningie here, and that might still be another month or two, but we'll see. I mean, the only thing that will prove that is actually when it happens. It is about being more present in each moment rather than trying to anticipate what's next. And the energy really is something that I'm feeling is, excuse me, the excitement. It's sort of like a bubbling excitement, bubbling well there somewhere. It's an excitement of what's coming forward. But it's also in that peaceful space. It's not in something that you sort of got to reach for to try and grab hold of. It's there, and I think that's where I'm feeling it most. It is that coming inwards more so than trying to look for things outside of.
Yeah.
And I'm sure most people understand that.
That's it.
I hope.
And it's kind of like we're being forced to align ourselves with the universe.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. Like, I'm just loving the feeling of it at the moment. So, and it's going to keep going. It's just going to get better.
Yeah. I'm going to drop myself out quickly and come back in, because then when I'm looking at that, it does look like I'm looking at you. I get a bit bugged with seeing in the corner of my eye that I'm looking away from you. It just bugs me a bit. You know what I mean, don't you, Leanne?
Yes, I do. Oh, excuse me.
And that's all it takes.
Look at that. Here, one moment, back in a flash.
Yeah. I mean, that's the beauty of these technologies that we've got, even though, like, I've got the start of what's an RSI, and I've been feeling the pain in the last week. I still persist because I like doing what I do. And that's really, if we're not doing what we like to do, why are we doing it?
That's it. It's finding that passion, sticking with what you know, what you like.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to take our names down now too. Whoops, sorry, I was bouncing my portable table.
I was going to say, you haven't got your other table yet?
They're not coming off. No, I haven't. Uh-oh. Hang on.
It's technology.
As I'm saying, our wonderful technology, there's the delay factor, obviously. Yes, I did do a reboot and all the normal stuff that we're supposed to, but I've got 4 tabs open on another thing somewhere. Or did I? No, I might not have. No, it's not anymore. So,
I love it. Stop and take a nice deep breath.
Which is exactly what I did. And we do need to do that every so often.
Yes. Yeah. It's really important to do that this year.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I know when we first popped in, like, as in, there is the back end of this. What it used to be called the green room. It's not green, I can tell you. It's the studio staging area in the Be Live Studio 2 terminology. As we were chatting, you did mention something that you'd like to mention, because I'd asked you. But now, in that short time span, that little time span, I've already forgotten it.
I kind of have too. I just stop and think for us.
So what was it we were going to have a chat about?
Self-worth. So we're looking at when we were just chatting in general, and we always say, what are we going to talk about today? So I think it's never organised and we'll never pre-organised. We just go with the moment, and that's what I love, sort of thing, in that sense. But we started talking about self-worth and what we're worth and what we expect, and our sort of structures in that side of okay. So do you want to leave now that I've reminded you? Do you want to take
I'm just looking through. I thought I might just sneak some of those comments up while you were talking, without just actually saying and mentioning to anybody that's on the line now. Like, when the comments come up, sometimes we're just not going to actually acknowledge it. The fact it's on the screen is acknowledgement. And hello. And whatever. Or we are actually in the reading mode and doing that. But you'll know the difference, I tell you. Yes. Yeah. So self-worth, exactly.
Yeah. And I think with 2020 and the way this energy is moving in, and what the universe has done, and the work we have done the last couple of years, because I know a lot of us have done a lot of hard work on ourselves, the letting go. We've had that journey like a roller coaster, the testing. Now, if I keep saying to people, if you weren't tested last year, you're sitting in a lower vibrational energy. So a lot of us on that higher vibration had a lot of tests and hurdles to jump and needed to let go of stuff to move us into the correct alignment for this year. So, this year is about nurturing us. It is about focusing on us and putting ourselves first. The last decade, we've had to look after everybody else and support everybody else for probably 98% of the universe in that sense. Now it's about giving ourselves back that energy and that focus and that permission to be balanced and to be able to move forward. So, and a big part of that is knowing our self-worth, knowing what we do. We are worthy of the love, the financial flow, the happiness and everything else that comes with it. Abundance doesn't just mean money. It covers a big, vast range of stuff, and it comes in many ways.
Absolutely. It's one of those things that many years ago, here's me looking out the window now and I'm looking away. I can't win.
You need two of me, one each side.
Actually.
Oh, no. One's enough. One, not two.
Yeah, so true. And as I'm speaking of that, I haven't got the other camera up with the card deck thingy that I normally do, so they'll be held up today. I can do it the other way, but it's not set up. What were we after? I do get sidetracked. As far as the abundance and things like that goes, I mean, when it was many years ago that I started actually really delving into some of this self-discovery, I suppose, self-awareness and learning, back then, and this was going back to around the 2004, it really was 2000, I suppose, I started asking that question, who am I, what am I doing here? And I know everybody does. You just want to know. It's something that is an inner desire to, why are we actually here? And there's so much that I'm discovering even now. It's a never-ending cycle, but it's each time that you actually go inward to discover that little bit more of yourself. It's almost like the onion peeling back, so that you're actually revealing and revealing and revealing and bringing forward something more that's got that. And even though onion does sometimes create you tears, if you're cutting into it and actually doing that sort of thing as you're peeling it off, it's almost it's that revealing the sweetness in an onion, because you actually, not that I've actually done it to a white onion, bitten into it like it's an apple. I don't eat raw onion, even the red ones.
I can't eat onion.
I've tried them and I just don't like them. But it's, I mean, you know what I'm comparing it to. It's actually revealing that sweetness, but also in that process of peeling it back, you are actually revealing what is the depth and that sort of thing for yourself and in understanding. And it's hopefully it's for self first, so that you are actually nurturing what is the inner you, because in that process then you are able to understand that is around us more, understanding. So you actually have that more global. I think one of the other shows I mentioned being the witness to your life. You can actually see it in that aspect a little bit more easily, that you are actually being a bit more that witness, and that in itself can give you a step back of understanding, so that it's not being personal, because so many things we take as being ultimately personal when it's actually not. Our reaction is personal, but the actual events around us and about us are totally not to do with us at all. That they're just things that are happening. And it's how we understand it and nurture our understanding and grow our understanding and know with wisdom, which is what we need to take notice of, what we don't, and where we need to grow.
Yep, for sure.
I have no idea what I said all then. It
makes sense.
At the end, it just said, oh, is that a lot of BS? No, it felt right. Sorry, that's part of the understanding. It's actually trusting what you feel from inside, and we do need to nurture that. I'm with you. I think that's what a lot of this year's going to be like. And it doesn't matter if you've done it before. Like I've gone through a lot of processes over the years since that first initial awakening type of moment where you sort of think, and at that point in time, I would have been a strong Christian base, and it would have been that feeling of the Holy Spirit coming in. And it's, it's actually no different to what is already here in the universe. Whatever label we're giving it, it's still our spirit connection. So, it's actually acknowledging that we are one, that we are part of that whole, but we are one. We're individual and unique.
We are.
And that's what we need to be nurturing.
That's it. And I think it's important to know that, if it is religion or it's wellness or it's universal, whatever it is that you do for you to help you, it's right if it works for you. There's no wrong or right. And I think in the past we've had so much judgment on how things have needed to be done. And, the last couple of years I keep saying to people, do what's right for you. If you feel good, you feel better, and you're flowing in the right direction, that's what matters. That's what works. But I do feel that really strongly this year that we are needing to take a step back. We are needing to slow down. We need to have those moments where we just stop and still our mind and bring that balance back into our lives. And when we do that, you're really going to find that flow is going to happen.
Yeah. I'm just writing a response to Izzy's comment there that I'd posted, just so you saw it. I think the video feed's still there in the My Time. So, and it is the My Time comment that comes through as we're posting here, because it's the origin, the place it's broadcasting is My Time TV Live. So just another quick reminder to those that are watching on the other pages, make sure you're in the My Time TV Live.
Yeah.
So sorry about interrupting that flow to a degree. No, I'm still getting it. Yeah. And I've just closed my Facebook page, so I can't monitor it.
Oh, no, that's right. But if anybody is having trouble at any time, not just today or any other day, just get out of it, refresh, and come back in, and it's likely to reconnect differently. Sort of thing. Sometimes the connections just get a bit stale, so to speak.
And that, on a desktop, that's the little round arrow thingy on the top corner up there that you'll see that you hit that's the refresh button for the pages. So, now that I've forgotten the flow of what we were talking about,
self-worth.
I did warn you before we even came on that my head's somewhere in those clouds.
Actually, that's a really good point, Ros. Maybe in the comments, let us know. Are you having trouble with clarity today? Are you having trouble processing? Because Ros isn't the first person I've spoken to today that's having that trouble. It's like the person I was speaking to on the phone this morning, trying to hold a conversation with her. Mind you, she hadn't long woken up or had just got back and just sort of become more alert, I should say. Come back. I wonder where she went last night.
Well, astral travel's fun.
Well, that's the thing. And I did talk to her about 1:30 this morning before I went to bed, and she says, I'm prepared for that travel tonight. So she'd set her intentions. I must ask her tonight later when I talk to her, where did she travel to? But so it'd be nice to know who's having that sort of focus. Is it the energy? Oh, excuse me.
That's right. And I'm just wondering, yes, is it the energy? It could be playing funny buggers. It's not a Mercury retrograde, is it? I know.
We are in an intense time at the moment, but it's an intense time of manifestation sort of thing until the 10th or 13th sort of time period.
So it's going to be heightened. I was just looking at that and thinking, was Michelle, who was that directed to? Was it directed to, have we lost feed, or is it just that it was Izzy? So it would be nice to clarify, that's all. And we've got Tan. Hi, Tan. Now, I know I haven't gone listing everybody. Yeah. I'm
Ground.
trying to clarify my thoughts because, yeah, and I'm looking out the window again, which is looking away, right? Because that actually is my most common place to look when I'm thinking of something. It is out my
Reflection.
window
Yeah.
because I love it. There's the trees there, that the birds are there, and I was watching some, what do you call it? Top knot pigeons. Right, there was a couple of top knot pigeons there, and it must be the time where they're starting to do that attracting their mate type process, their partner thing, and they were doing their little dance and doing their little sounds and everything. And it does bring to mind, as far as the creatures of the earth, they know what their purpose is. They know what they're here for. They're just here being present and being the creatures that they are with all of their automatic, what do you call that automatic stuff?
Yeah.
What they already know.
Yeah.
There's a
Habit.
word for it. Yeah, the habits and whatever. So they already know that, and we're sort of supposed to be the intelligent ones, but they are just there and they're doing and being who they are
Mm.
and doing their little dance and their song and everything. There's no I suppose there is no question in their mind about self-worth. There's just that being, and that's probably, as I'm thinking on that even now, that we do really need to be more of just that who we are, instead of questioning all the time, in trusting that we have our passions and our interests and the things we like doing and the people that we like being with. We know when we're in touch with our intuition, that gut feeling. We know from the energy we feel around us where we like to move our energy toward. As far as, you go into a room and you suss it out and you pick the energy, friends and things like that, you're automatically attracted to what your energy is going to. Gee, isn't it time we really do need to trust that, because that's
Yeah.
part of our connection with universe. It's part of our connection with our spirit and the guides and where they're guiding us to as well.
Yeah.
Let go of getting in our own way and actually moving with what is the intuition. Yeah, I'm calling it intuition, but it's the gut feeling. It's just essentially our essence
Yeah.
leading us, guiding
Sure.
us, connecting.
Yeah.
Um,
That's yeah.
I
Yeah.
suppose, yeah, for some it can take a bit of learning. How do you do it?
And that's the thing, it is really about learning, and we're here to help you guys with that sort of thing. So reach out. I'm writing courses on this stuff at the moment, so keep an eye on that online. But it is, we really have had to have the structures in our lives and the conditioning and everything else the last. I heard somebody refer it to as the teen decade, and I hadn't heard of it being called that before, and I thought that
Oh,
was
yeah.
perfect because I kind of think about teenagers. What happens with a lot of teenagers, even 12, 13, 14, even at 19, 20, sometimes they throw their tantrums and stuff like that. So when I heard it referenced to that, I thought that's perfect because I do believe that we have seen a lot of the tantrum throwing and stuff in the last few years, sort of thing, where if something doesn't go somebody's way, the way they react and they show their true colors. But we've no longer in that energy. We're no longer in that decade. We've moved forward now. So let's let go of all the old habits. If you find that you're negative and you're a negative person and have been for a while now, you find those negative thoughts and stuff come up, pull yourself up, acknowledge you're doing it, know you're doing it, because that's really half the battle. And then change your thought pattern, because the more you focus on feeling good and putting that love out there and expanding your energy and changing those habits, it's like everything, it takes practice. You might change that thought pattern 3 times today. Tomorrow you might have to do it 5. You might find the day after you're doing it a little bit less. I always say that things take around what is it? I think when I used to go on these diet plans and stuff like that, they always used to say 21-day habits. It's a
Yes,
lifestyle for 21 days. Once you get past that 21 days, you're set. Yeah, right. It's not always the way it works, because it is about our mind. We fall back into old habits. So if we can change those old habits, we can make a difference.
Yeah, when you said diets, I just had to laugh now. How many over the years have I been on?
I've given up on mine. If it's meant to be here, it'll stay. As I release everything and I open myself up and trusting in the universe, it's going to go. So I'm not going to work at it. It's just going to go.
It's just one of those things I feel like we've been conditioned into, that we have to be skinny. We have to be this. We have to be that. It's one of those programs that we as humans think we have to live up to somebody else's expectation.
Yeah. And it comes back to judgment on ourselves and judgment on others. And we don't need that in our lives.
No, look, I do feel that, and it was interesting. It did press some buttons with me because I'm a moderator of a group. I haven't been a moderator of a group, fairly new group, and it was coming up with some things that were pressing my buttons. And it was a vegan omnivore type. It was argument. It was not just a discussion. And it's just some of those things. And I sort of thought, look, you just cannot go telling somebody else what they should and shouldn't eat. It's each of us feel what's right for us in the way that we eat, the way that we live, what's actually in alignment with our beliefs, our lifestyle, how we want to be in this world, on this world, because, at times I sort of wonder, are we actually meant to be here? There's times I sort of think, God, Mother Earth, I bet you anything you'd like to kick us all off and just let things happen as they're supposed to.
Do you know what? And that's a perfect thing. That's another subject in itself, Mother Earth. Look at what's going on in the world at the moment. Especially here in Australia with the fires, the Amazon. I think California had them not long ago as well, sort of thing. Cleansing, but it's also healing at the same time. It's the clearing.
It's with anything. It's part of what my belief is. It is around that there will become the balance in anything, because and this is where, like, it's a closed earth atmosphere and the rest, but it's actually not, because we do have the galaxy and how they're discovering different things around that. They're reflecting back of light out into space and the rest to help cool Earth down. All the techniques that they're trying to use to control Mother Earth. Can it be? I think that's where the being in tune, being in alignment with what we feel is right, is where it needs to start. The small steps. We don't need to feel helpless just because it's one person. It's just me. We can take those steps, do the recycling if you want to, and feel led to do that, and touch the earth lightly by not being so consumer what do you call that? Consumption minded. Consumerism, the capitalist system, and all the rest. Profit isn't it's so much of all of that's just created for somebody else. It's the greed factor. It's that fear of not having enough. There is enough. It's how each and every one of us actually manages our enough, and in that nurturing what is our self. Because so much time can be spent giving without having those moments where we actually open up to receiving as well. And especially therapists, healers, and people who are in that sort of field, and with the energy work and everything, it does tend to be a little bit more on the giving side instead of being open to receiving. Actually acknowledging, yes, I'm worth this. I can earn, I can receive. It's the recognition. It's that cyclic, what do you call it? The what goes around comes around energy. It's the cycle. It's the carousel. Balance.
That's it. It is, and it's really important to have balance. I had to laugh at Diana's comment there. I'm grounded today. Don't know about tomorrow. Laugh
Yeah,
out loud.
yeah, I had that one up
Yeah,
for a
I love
little time before
it.
too.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
you know, it's great to be grounded today, but it's a practice. It's a thing that we can do every day. It's doing the work on us. Hey,
yeah,
Jennifer, how are you? I
it
did
is.
actually, Naomi's question caught my attention as well, just
One's
down
that
a
one.
couple from Diana's, where it says, I've been feeling spirit around me at night, touching my face, have asked
Oh, yeah,
them to stop because I can't sleep. Who is this? And who do I get them to, or how do I get them to
how?
stop?
You
So, honey,
ask them or tell them.
yeah, yeah, that's it. And the other thing is, honey, that obviously if they keep going, they're trying to get your attention. They've got a message for you. So I always say to people, like to my students when I'm teaching this stuff, what is the first thought that comes into your mind before your monkey mind steps in and you start questioning and doubting yourself? Trust that, okay? That very first thought that comes in your mind, trust that. Now, when obviously my feeling is when they've been heard, they will leave you alone. For me, I set my intentions around my bedroom, and so they can stay at the door. They can't wake me up at night until the sun comes up unless it's urgent. So if I get woken up, I know it's urgent. But keep in mind that the universal energy is quite heightened at the moment. A lot of us are seeing things like, for me, I had a conversation with a friend last night, and he said that the last few days he keeps seeing faces in things, and he actually sent me a photo of a tarp outside, and I could see the face. The moment it came up, I knew what he was talking about. And for me, I keep hearing words the last few days, and then within 3 or 4 minutes, that'll come up on the TV or the radio, and it's not just your normal standard things. It's kind of like we're moving into that higher vibration. We're being pushed into that higher vibration. It's
Yeah,
taking note of it.
yeah, and it is. I mean, as much as you can, like you'd said, it is. You ask them or tell them not to disturb you through sleep, but they will knock at the
Yeah.
door if it's urgent.
If you
So
don't give, yeah, that's
it'll
it.
be in those different ways
Yeah.
you're receiving the messages. So yeah,
If it's urgent, they'll keep persisting. If you're not listening, they're not going to respect your boundaries if you don't give them the time and the energy.
yeah. And it is having the conversation with them, connect and just ask, what do you want? Not so roughly. I'm just being a bit rough. Maybe it's just the way my energy is today.
But you could, to people that are watching, and maybe you could let us know in the comments who this year or this last month or two are starting to find they are opening up to spirit more, to their intuition, becoming more aware. I'd love to know who's noticing the changes.
I think it is a
Yeah,
big lot of energy is towards that.
definitely.
Yeah, this year moving into a passing. I just saw past doggy. Oops, wrong one. just as I went, I wasn't going to put a question up at the moment. Hang on. The speed of Be Live is a little slow this morning. I think something to do with it. We may as well answer it since it's up. Obviously needed to be answered. So guidance in pursuing love with the person I'm talking to now, and if I should start my own business. Well, that's 2 questions. Sorry. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do feel it's a yes to both.
And I love the way you did that, Ros, because I think that's all part and parcel of this change of this energy. Help if I slow my words down. We are becoming more aware. We are noticing things being put in front of us. People might ask for something, but they don't ask directly. It's kind of, but we are becoming more clearer on that point, because I found this year I'm doing the same thing. When people send me messages, and it's just like, and I'll touch on that one in a second. And it's kind of like that, hang on, you are asking this, but you've gone off in this tangent. Bring the energy back in, the focus on what really is important. And one thing I am asking people this year is, and I think Ros will probably agree with me, please don't inbox us for free readings. All right. These shows we dedicate our time to.
Yeah.
And we love doing this and answering your questions, and the shows will be what they are. But we do have booking links, or you can book in with us for readings. I know I offer one, I'm pretty sure Ros does too, one question readings. You don't have to pay a massive amount or invest in having a full hour or a half an hour. We put these things in place.
10 to 15 minutes for those, whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. So, we need to find a balance in our lives as well. So we've got to practice what we're preaching
And
at the
that was
same time.
Yeah, and that was part of the reference too, as far as the, being ready to receive, because as you know, I've blocked some of that for myself over time. But it's the having the open hands ready to receive, and it's not for begging. It is just, look, I've got my hands here. I am in my, I'm in the energy to receive. It is bringing it in, because we all have to live. We all need to earn money, because that's what our system is. I don't like it. Doesn't mean to say I can not live with it. It's a fact of life. So it's having that receiving, because it's also the acknowledgement to self that you are worthy, that is, we don't gauge our self-worth. Well, we need to learn not to gauge our self-worth by the money we earn. Money is just the tool, but we need that because it's the convenient way to do what used to be just a barter system. You'd have your own garden. If you had excess, you'd share it with neighbours and others for things that you needed that you didn't grow. It's that type of system that's become money and capitalist profiteering greed. That's just my summary of it. It is that. Look for those links, because we are worth it.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
My friend last night said to me, "You're amazing what you do. You've got all this going on, and it's incredible." And we were looking at my weaknesses, because I helped him break down through something he was working on, and he came back, and I'm happy to share what mine is. I've got all these ideas. I want to help people. I want to put it out there. But I've lacked in the past, especially 3 years ago. He's been really involved in my life in the last 3 years with my work side of stuff. And he says, "Look how far you've come. You forget to acknowledge that. You tell everybody else to do it, but you put so much pressure on yourself and expectations that you've got to do this, but you forget about the systems that need to be put in place to manage that." And I'm thinking, yes, this is why this year I'm focusing on a lot of getting all these systems and tools in place to help people do what they need to do in their lives. But it also comes back to my self-worth, because like Ros and like a lot of us, we were sort of conditioned to do nice things, help others, and we felt good doing that, but we forget to open ourselves up to receiving and allowing that back into our life. So the moment we do something nice, and that reward comes back, so to speak, it's like, "Oh, no, I don't need that." But that's our ego. That is our fear sort of thing, and that's what we've got to strip, and it's a hard journey. I know since I've been doing these professional readings more, especially probably the last 5 years, I had one of my mentors tell me if I don't raise, I think I was charging $50 a reading at my kitchen table back then. He told me if I didn't put my prices up over $100 and commit in that workshop that day to do it, there's the door, get out. And I thought, oh, that's just rude. But the more I thought about it, I thought, no, he's right. I've got to feel worthy of what I'm doing. It's time, it's energy, it's effort, and all the preparation that goes in behind the scenes to do what we do isn't just like, hey, let's switch it on and let's, sit there and do a client. It's all the systems that, like, all these programs that I'm putting in place to run my online courses, they all cost subscriptions to keep them running yearly, monthly, whatever. So, and it's like everything sort of thing. But it's finding that belief in ourselves and knowing that we're worth it.
Yeah, and it's the difference too of what for some would be an employee job mindset compared to what is a business mindset compared to what is solopreneur, because they're all like those three different areas, and that's where I love working in threes.
Yeah. I did a decent one of the
because it's like, because it really is, to me, it's reflective of so many things in nature that are the threes, because, you know, as far as the Christian faith, there's the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. In some of the Wiccan, there's, and I can't remember what that is, as above, so like that. I know I've learnt it, but that was a long time ago. You know, there's so many areas that there are three things: body, mind, spirit.
Yeah.
With what I work with. I mean, it is the levels of what our beingness is. And now I've almost forgotten what I started off doing that for. What was I saying? It's the you know, our conditioning, that we actually have to set it up in particular ways. But when you're actually a wage earner 9 to 5, that's the time. That's the time you're putting to it. Operators get systems going and it sorts itself. Solopreneurs do everything.
Yeah. The thing is, though, it's drummed into us to go as children. When we leave school, we get a job. We go out there. We do the, you know, the 30, 40 hours a week or whatever we're doing to get the money back. I remember my first job. I worked for my family business, my parents' business. I was working, I think it was 38 hours a week, and I was getting $90 a week as a 14-year-old. And, you know, that is just a few decades ago sort of thing. But that's what the ongoing rate was then. So we all sort of, those that do work for somebody else, go out there, and it's just given that you're going to go there, you're going to do the work, what's asked of you within reason, and you're going to be paid at the end of the the week for that, and that's fine. But in our situations, we are self-employed, like a lot of people are in life, or are doing things on the side or whatever. It's like we put that energy out there, and I love it. The healing that I see in my readings, and Ros will see it with hers as well. That is so gratifying. Like, the gratitude that we get from that is incredible. But unfortunately, you know, we've got to have that balance.
Yes, yeah. And I'm just noticing a few of these. These were the responses when we said, how are you feeling? You know, as far as what is the energy, it really is like that. And Jennifer, wow, awakening journey. It's an experience.
And it's got further to go. There's so much more coming your way. So just keep on that journey. And that's the thing, guys. We need to start putting out that now, because we are in that home manifestation, that clear picture of what we want in our lives, what we give ourselves permission to have, and just expand your energy to put out that love, but accept it back into your life.
Yeah, Michelle here has commented the shift in regards to the money and the reality that we've created. It is going to happen. Yeah. It does, when you're saying that, you know, as far as there was a share, what was it, a prayer vigil type of thing online?
For the rain.
For the rain. And you feel the energy around that. The what was described by a lot, you know, you read the comments and the rest. Yes, I've spent too much time on Facebook, but then I've had the time because my arm's sore. I can use the left hand with the iPad.
There's a way around everything.
Well, there's a way around it, I tell you. Look, my screen time is astronomical. It's one of my it is my addiction. You know, since 1982, I've been in front of a screen. But it's the feeling it as if, not pray for rain to come, but no, it's here. It was the description of actually being in the rain, feeling the feeling, and manifesting it in that way, so that you were actually out there. You know, it was the imagine, but we sometimes put a bit of a definition on imagine as if it's fake. It's not. It is that knowing, putting that imagine, that concept of what you're thinking in your mind and what you're feeling from your third eye. It's putting that in the fact that you're actually feeling that sensation of the rain on you. And it's the same thing. And this I have to practice, because this is where, you know, the money thing and the money blocks I have is feeling I've got the money in my hand, that, I'm receiving it with my right, or whichever one it is, that old housewives tale thing.
I think it's
receive with the
I'm
left, give with the right, or
receive with your right, leave with your left. But then I'm left-handed, so apparently it turns it upside down.
So whichever one you have as the dominant hand, that you normally go and pick, put your hand out to receive money, see yourself receiving the money. And I do need to practice that more. It's a bit harder now because we have the technology that everything's online. You're booking online. You don't see the money. You don't feel that energy and the pleasure of handling physical cash.
See the bank account going up. It's starting to PayPal, and I actually have got into the habit the last few months of every time I sign into PayPal to pay for something or withdraw money, I see the amount going up. So it's like I kind of know where it sits each time I go in. I imagine what that's going to be before I actually open it up.
And actually know that that's what's happening. Oh, I'll take that. Good point.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
I love it. But see, your bank account's going up. Imagine that dollar value that you want in your bank account. How many of us go into a bank account and go, oh, God, I'm dreading there's only $2.38 or something in there. So I think that's what we are manifesting. It's,
that's what it's been like lately. Yes, exactly.
Breathe into it, surrender it. Feel that bank account going up. It is the power of the manifestation. I like it, Naomi.
Yeah, and exactly and it's what you want. That's where, who am I? What am I doing here? It's putting all of that in that balance of, we do need money to be able to do what we want, that we know we're being directed to do. And, that one of the old thoughts that I used to think, well, look, if it's going to, and it still probably is one of those thoughts, if I'm meant to do something, the money will be there to go and do it. And it's a living in the flow, which is what I have done, and trusting that. It's a bit hard sometimes when you see, instead of going up on a bank balance, it's doing the other thing, going down, but it still comes around in a cycle. So it's just all things being present in the moment and trusting. That's where I move back to. So,
actually, talking about manifestation, Ros, I will have to drop out a couple of minutes early today because I've got a phone. You can only get me in at 11:30. A phone call appointment with a potential app developer. See, manifestation.
Yes.
So
cool stuff. Goody. So we can look forward to stuff coming up. Yay! It does mean though that we haven't gotten into doing very many questions, answers things today. But guess what? We don't have to do that every time. I know we've sort of briefly gone through a couple of the questions. Is there anyone there in the list that you're feeling led to that we really need to answer?
I don't know, but I think Spirit's doing its own thing, because all of a sudden I've got a gentleman that's standing with me and he's giving me the smell of toasties. So to me, I get the feeling he's got a granddaughter or a daughter. I feel like a younger person, so I want to say probably a granddaughter here, that is watching, and you remember him by quite often walking into the house and smelling the toasties because he enjoyed his toasties for lunch.
I'm just wondering if it would be Emma, or I did see someone referencing to a grandfather, wondering if it was their grandfather, but now I can't find it.
Emma, does that make sense to you, honey? If you can let us know, or let Ros know in the comments. But he's definitely a grandfather figure. So, and I just get that's the memory as a young child. Now, I also get through that his granddaughter is going through change this year. Okay, so I'm going to say acknowledging the journey you had last year and looking at how things are going to fall into place. Okay, come February, change will come is the reference I get there. Okay.
Yeah, and I can't find it, so it might resonate with it. Well, it will resonate with someone who's watching. But I did just see
Naomi's grandfather. Awesome, high vibrations mean your opinion. The universe is offering you. So true.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and we've got to feel those high vibrations. So many of us, I noticed last year, we're sitting in that low vibrational group, but we really struggled with it because that's not where you belong. That's the push.
Yep.
Yeah.
Naomi.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
Yeah. So Naomi. So honey, would I be right in saying that you're going through changes at this year? Like you're noticing the changes probably the last 5 to 6 weeks in your life, but last year was quite challenging. Okay. I also get drawn to the number 7 and the month of August as well. Okay. So whether I'm looking at July and August, but he did give me the number 7 and then the word August in that way. So okay, I'm pretty sure it's my grandfather what he's trying to tell me.
Yeah. Just putting it up to confirm.
Now,
Yeah,
was
I think it might be.
Naomi also the one that was having the dreams? I got a funny feeling.
That's what I'm going back to see what Naomi's actually put.
All right. So my feeling is he has been trying to get your attention for a while. He also wants to acknowledge the younger male. So whether you've got a son or there is a young male like that around you, okay? So I get the hand on the heart. I get lots of love and pride with that. I actually feel like he's been giving you signs for a while. And I'm noticing I'm talking with my hands a lot. So I do feel that he would explain. And I quite often feel myself sort of bring my hands together like that. I don't feel like I want to pray, but I do feel like it's just gratitude in the way that he brings his hands together with that. Okay. Yes. Born on the 7th, had first spinal surgery in August. Beautiful. Okay, honey. So I am with you with that. Okay. Okay. So it's your grandfather doing it. So that's the answer to your question earlier is your grandfather. All right. Please know he's there. You're heading in the right direction. The hard work is behind you. Eggs and bacon. I don't know why. I think you like his food.
Oh, that's a funny thing you say, eggs and bacon, because at my dad's funeral, because that was one of his favourite foods was eggs and bacon. Sunday morning, you look forward to it so much. So there was a plate of eggs and bacon in the shape of the smile and that as his presence at his own funeral at the wake type thing. And it was just so funny. One of the grandsons just went up and ate it. It was so funny. It wasn't meant for that. But it was, so cool.
I love the way that happens because just look at how that brings up a memory for Ros of her dad as well. So she more than likely is now feeling her father around her as well. So if you're listening to somebody getting a reading and you resonate with stuff or memories come in, please know that your loved one's with you at the same time. Naomi's crying. Sorry.
Well, and it was
I'm not sorry. She needs to come out. All right. And she says it's her son, Patrick. So know your son's going to do big things, honey. All right.
Yeah. Joanne, thank you for that. Yes. And it does. It's that connection that we can all feel from someone else's reading. It can still resonate with us as someone totally unrelated to Naomi because I don't know her personally. It's just that energy. And that's where I'm reminded certainly that our energy as humanity, we are a universal energy and it is based on love and it is that connection that is source. So for me, my understanding is if you want to label it God, I am God. God is me. God, as far as that whole of creation and the source. But I'm only one of that puzzle, one of that connection, of the whatever souls there is circulating within source, because how far is history back? How many are new souls compared to old souls? None of us really know until we're back at source. When we finish with this body, this lifetime, and move to the next, if that's what your belief system is. It is mine. So, it's just connecting, remembering that we are members of a corporate. It's source. It's whatever label you want to give it, and it's love. And that's why we can resonate with each other's readings.
It is love. That's the focus this year, love. Yeah, I love it. And you're very welcome, Naomi.
Yeah, I'll put that one up too. Just saw it. Yeah. Now, since you are needing to move on, I'm sorry to everybody that we haven't actually answered very many questions, but you get the gist of where we're at. This is time that we share as we're led in the way that the show goes. It's just we start with that intuitive sense of, I like to chat about something. whether you want to call it an icebreaker or what, doesn't matter. It sets just a lovely tone to what we're doing. And then, normally we've gone into readings. Well, this morning it wasn't quite that many. That's the potluck.
And if you guys have got subjects you want to know more about and we can help you with it, please let us know. Inbox us or, drop it in the comments and stuff like that, because we are open to talk about any subjects, and we'd love you guys to join in on those subjects and how you feel about them, what you experience.
And I do go back and look at all the comments and stuff afterwards as well. So
much better
I don't just leave it. I've got some time at the moment. That's fine. I like to make the time for that because I feel that connection is then completed its cycle in a way that I've at least read everything, and where appropriate made comments. I won't be going back and giving the free readings extra to those anymore, because I've set that I deserve to be paid for what I do as well, as far as that goes. So when I find what my link is, I'll be putting that in the comments here, as well as we've got the description where you connect to our pages in the description, whether it's up above or whether you're on a mobile and it's below or to the side. I don't know how mobiles work with this. I use a desktop.
So is that the best way for people to reach out to book a reading with you at the moment, Ros, is to inbox you on Facebook?
Either inbox or I'll go and double check. I have been trying to get the links, the Facebook linking work. It's one of those challenges I've found. I still don't understand Facebook enough, even though I spend a lot of time on it. I still don't quite understand how those links work. There should be a Shop Now button there that will give a couple of options, and I'll add to those. But the Hypnosis Plus, like that website that I've got going there, that's the main one that I use. It is Shopify, so it's secure payments. It lets me know that you've booked, and I get it done within 12 hours. That's what my average has been. Sometimes 24, but mainly 12 hours. And I do the recording like this, but it's offline recording. So that's how I do it. So you've got your booking buttons on your page. That's
on my website,
and website,
that's it. Naomi, just before I run away, I don't know if your grandfather has a cat in spirit or you have a cat in spirit, but it's hanging around the back of me. So,
it's wanting a cat being noticed. Love the way we go with the flow. Well, it's probably not going to be any other different way. For me. For me.
I love it. Yeah. That's why I'm this year going with the flow. So, and that's the way the universe wants us to work.
Yeah.
So,
a topic's fine. If we've got something like that, we can certainly do a bit of research, or at least go with the flow with that topic.
That's what the topic was, Ros. I think she was getting at. Go with the flow.
Duh. Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
The spirit me recognizes the spirit in you.
I'm gonna say goodbye, and I'll drop myself out in 1 second. But I want to show my top. I love this. Shine. That's what we all need to do this year. Take time, sparkle. Take the time to shine. All right. So I wasn't gonna. God, I hope you didn't see my belly then, but.
Look, thank you very much for being part of, my show, for doing the Tuesdays Intuitive Chats. For as long as we can, and what fits in and what Spirit wants us to do, we'll be doing them. So till next week for the 10:30, we'll see you then with me, Leanne. Thank you.
Thank you for having me, and thank you everybody for joining in.
We'll catch you around. Good luck with that meeting.
Thank you. Yeah, I know how it goes.
Okay. All right. See ya. Bye. And that does finish the sharing time with Leanne being here. I'm just going to flip through and just do a couple of, hey, that's a bit weird. I'm just noticing my comments in the background are not going back to what the start was. I was just thinking of just doing a couple of the cards, because there are a few that said, look, you'd like a card, and now they're not there. KB, I do feel that there is. I think it's just letting go of that tension, that trying. Don't try. Just enjoy life, enjoy the partnership, enjoy the connections. And you'll know what I mean with that one. So allowing that and knowing with that too, that the seed will be planted in its natural way when you're releasing the tension and just enjoying the process and all that's involved with that. So, it really is love is the base of everything. So reconnect with that in a even deeper way. Sometimes we lose the romance, and I'm feeling bring a bit more romance back into it too. As far as these with how's the year looking and all of those types of questions, take your breaths and move into your own inner space and just feel your energy, what's ahead as well. Sometimes we are wanting to look outside of ourselves a little too often before actually looking within first and sensing what you feel within before you start to question and get the clarification from without. So I'm hoping that you understand that. I can't sort of not seeing now where the cards were, but what I'm going to do is just bring my other camera up and show and I've got to actually change the camera for that, just so that and you can see the card in this way, because this is how I actually do and the light outside's just changed to being really bright. The sun's shining like you wouldn't believe, so it's bringing a really, really bright background. So the white balance on that is not quite what it normally is. So I'm just going to pull 3 cards. So if these resonate with you, please sit with them as far as what is, and I've had some of this. Oh, now I can't see it. I've had this one was in my morning reading this morning. Right. So there you go. Look, Diana, I think it's everyone's. It's just one of those things. When Leanne dropped out, I think, when Leanne needed to go, not dropped out, when she needed to go, that taking out of one of the positions has stopped the screen scroll in the back end of it. And you need to use Be Live to know what I'm talking about with that one. So I can't get them all up on screen. So it's the letter. So it's actually looking at how we communicate, I think, this coming year. And the focus being like a lot of what we've done is communication has been something that we've probably sort of, with the technology that we've got and how easy it is to communicate, it's still something that we're not doing on an in-depth level, so that it's actually it's actually surface. So we can flip through the Facebook, and we can flip through our emails, and we can flip through our text messages, and it's so quick. Well, for some, it's so quick to actually, do the typing for text messages. But are we really communicating? Are we really being in-depth, personal? Because this is letters. Letters in the way that these were written would have been personal letters, something that was important. You've got the wax seal on this one, so that it's not being read as if what you're reading is important. And I'm feeling that that's something that we need to actually be concentrating on through this year, is having that the beautiful energy that's going to grow us and keep us moving forward with that positive, gentle aspects this coming year, because that's what I'm feeling it is. It's also going to be more around what is important to us, the searching for what's important. For the family base, actually coming back to what is that basis, that, the origin of what we are, that question, who am I, what am I here for? And there's so much happening in families, dysfunctional, and the mix of families and everything that we've got that's almost seemed like it's gone crazy, but it's coming back to actually that communication and really the basics of that. Who am I? What am I here for? What is the unit that's the most important in our lives? It is self and family, and those connections that we have in community, because that's the next step, is community. And it's needing to come back to that. I've felt that for a while. And also being able to let some of those things drop that have been that conditioning and that past process of, I wouldn't say brainwashing, but it certainly is an old process. It's needing that is what we felt has been our cross responsibility for someone else's dreams, or someone else's purpose, or someone else's profit, or someone else's, it's looking back to what is that core, that family base, that inner, our own family, which is the body, mind, soul. We are in ourselves that little mini universe, because in every cell we've got the universe, and we're in everybody else. The connection. And well, I'm hoping that you understand what I'm saying with that. Well, if you've got any questions, yes, I'm open to answering questions and stuff. Put them in the comments. I do go back and read. And so thank you for being here this morning. It's wonderful doing these shows. I love joining in with Leanne, or having Leanne join in with me. Doesn't matter which way you look around at it. Being present in how you live your life is what's important. And it would be lovely for you to look at those cards, put it on pause, look at the screen, and sit with it for a while and feel what you need to feel as your message from what's ahead in 2020 or 2020, whichever way you look at it. So thanks heaps, and we'll see you next week. I'll be back on again tomorrow at 8 o'clock on my Ros Boundy page for the daily one. And there are the booking buttons in both of our sites. The links are there, or whichever way you look at your phone, your device. So, and we'll see you next week, 10:30, and find the button. Thank you. Bye for now.